Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you doing? This is your host, Kim Hoang of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, and we're here doing another installment of our episode mini, where we take a full-blown episode and we kind of cram it and condense it within a 10-minute time frame. Some episodes we actually finish early, which is cool. I mean, it is what it is there. Some episodes we do finish on time, and that's also fine. And then some episodes we do go a little bit overboard the 10-minute mark, but that's okay. We're just here and we're getting it done, and we're having a good time with it. For the format that it is, we are going to actually have no theme music, no exit music, or anything of that sort. You know what I mean? No Q&A. It's just the bare bones minimum. And that's what it is. That's what we do here. And I'm really excited about it. Shout out actually to my good friend Rich Garifo, as I am actually recording this over at the Garifo compound over in Silver Spring, Maryland, which is not far from Washington, D.C., depending on where you are in Silver Spring. At least from his side of it, you can probably get there within about 10 or 15 minutes. You know what I mean? Just go down on 650 to New Hampshire Avenue and follow it all the way down until you actually literally reach the Washington, D.C. borderline, which is probably northeast D.C. I think that's what that section is. So that's what it is, and that's where it's at. Tons of stuff to actually talk about. Updated news about people that are coming into the podcast, and an announcement. Basically, they're both announcements in their own perspective way, but let's get cracking to the first one, which is that, ladies and gentlemen, we will be having some great guests coming up. We have it lined up in the pipeline. I'm actually really excited about it because all of them did agree that they would love to be a guest on my show. The question is, getting them here and so forth and coordinating that, which will be my responsibility on my part. But I have it on good authority that we can actually announce some people who will be, along for the ride and be a part of this process. Number one is a director for DC Bounty Hunter, who she was also an actor in that film. Her name is Angel Terrell. Angel is actually somebody who I met through the acting industry and through the project DC Bounty Hunter. She's really an amazing person to work with. She is a great leader when it comes to being a director. And the fact that she just has a great aura about her, a great energy. I feel like, wow, she's incredible. Matter of fact, when it comes to the DC Bounty Hunter movie, she was one of 3 directors, believe it or not, because she was one of them. The main principal director was, of course, Jason Henderson, who, again, I want to give a shout out to him because that's my guy. You know what I mean? I love him to death, and he's definitely an incredible person. And right now, if I can get this, I'm going to give you the actual third. So let me just go ahead and get this all in. 3 directors. Angel Terrell, co-director, Jason Henderson, supervising director, and Carlos Ware, which was another co-director. And I would love an opportunity to talk to Angel, kind of pick her head a little bit, and so forth, and it'll be great. Another person that I am also getting into this podcast and getting his own interview, believe it or not, is a very young actor who is only, believe it or not, 11 years old. And his name is Dominic Rios. Now, The cool thing about this situation is that obviously Dominic is a kid actor, and he's 11. And he would be the very first actor that I have ever interviewed that is that young. And how this happened was quite interesting, but really cool. Because I had pitched this idea to Dominic in front of his mom. And his mom, Melanie Wilson Rios, who she says, well, technically the term is that she's, the manager and the agent. But she has a term called that, I'm his momager, which is like mom and manager, momager. And I approached the idea to Melanie and sought her permission and said, hey, do you think it'd be cool if we could interview Dominic? Because, he's a young actor. He's actually doing a lot of things. He's also a model, too. I think it would be good. I think it'd be a great, thing for him. And Melanie was all about it. And I think through a lot of, discussions and negotiations between myself and her to Dominic, and they were going about it back and forth. I think it's going to work out very well to the point where he even said himself that, yeah, I would like to do it. So we're going to have pretty soon Dominic Rios here on the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience on his very first interview. And I think it's going to be cool. It's going to be fun. I'm going to have it where, basically he's going to be here and I'm going to interview him. But on the sidelines, I will have another mic for Melanie. So, just in case if something happens, she can pick up a little bit where, maybe Dominic may not understand a certain question. She can just kind of jump in and help out, kind of like a lifeline, phone a friend, phone a buddy. So, yeah, that will be cool. I'm excited for that. The last person that I want to interview is somebody that I knew for a very long time. She's an actress and a singer by the name of Luana Lee. Now, Luana Lee, I actually met her through an independent film project that happened years ago. And I found out later on through that project when she was talking to me that she is the daughter of Lee Dahl, who's a famous, director. He's an actor. And he also did his own albums, music albums and so forth. So she actually had her own series called The Adventures of Luana Lee, which starred, such people as herself, the late Eric Christopher Myers, Leanna Chamish, who played Luana's mom. And a whole bunch of great, talented people. I was really proud and honored to be a part of that process. To be acting in a lot of her series like I did. And to, now, years later, we're really doing it. This is going to happen that, she wants... she's accepted. She's agreed. I'm not saying that she's going to, she wanted to do it. I asked her to be a guest on my podcast show, and it's going to be incredible. You know what I mean? She said yes. She said yes. And it'll be great because it has been about 10 years, I think, since I last saw her in person. You know what I mean? And I've known her since she was like a little kid. You know what I mean? Like she's 15 years old. She's double that now. You know what I mean? She's in her 30s, and she's a young woman and she's got a career. She's graduated from Towson University and she's doing great things for herself, but she hasn't been acting and singing for a very long time. Well, I take that back. She did do like a single with her dad of a Beatles cover, but the thing about it is, though, is that she's really been out of the game in quite some time. So it would be really cool to have her in person, just us, her and I, alone in a room, recording a podcast episode and just catching up on old times and seeing where she's been, how she got into the acting game, how she decided to actually have her own various music albums and so forth. And it'll be cool, man. Like, it will be great. This is the first time in a while that I think that she's ever had this type of exposure, because to my knowledge, I don't think that she's ever been on a podcast show. So for her to agree to this and say, yes, I will be on your podcast show, and had no hesitation in that, I think it's going to be really cool. I'm actually looking forward to that because, there's definitely a lot of questions that I love to ask her and stuff that I've been meaning to ask her for a long time. But I think, as time passed, as more time passed, and now, she's a full-blown adult, I'm a full-blown adult, we can definitely talk about it. And I feel like it'd be like no holds barred. I can go ahead and ask and, inquire about some stuff about her life and about her being in acting and, being the daughter of a director and being the daughter of a director that's in, a series that he's, basically on. And yeah, it's going to be awesome and it's going to be a good time. Hopefully we can get that done whenever. Right now I know that I'm talking to her in terms of like her availability, and I think it's probably going to happen, I think probably the first or second week of the NFL season, if I remember correctly. I go a lot in the weird timelines here, so I'm saying that first or second week of the NFL, that's going to be fine. And I can't wait for that. And that'll be good. That'll really be good. So that'll be awesome. That said, I have an opportunity for a lot of people out there, specifically actors. And this is my call to arms, if you will, where I am going to ask if there's any actors out there, especially in the DMV, that would like to be my guest. And I just need 3 actors now, like kind of like have a panel to do an episode, a group episode together. That would be amazing. Now, I want you to hear me out. My conceptual idea for this episode is about acting, about the politics of acting, about the do's and the don'ts, and the what to expect, and breaking down like any myths or stereotypes or that sort of thing about acting, and a whole lot more. I think that there's been kind of like a thing, an unknown, and it was, how can I explain it? It's an unsaid thing and an unknown thing about like what happens within the industry. And a lot of people have like certain ideas and so forth. And I think it's about time to really put it out there on the limelight about like what it's like in acting and the, and things that, people need to expect, and, the drama and the politics that go along with it and everything like that. And I think that, the industry needs to know, they really need to, I don't want to put it in a rude way, but, it's just like, it's time to wake up and make people be aware about certain things, and make people understand that, everything's not, everything is, well, how do I, like, it's cool, but everything's not as cracked up to be, you know what I mean? Like, what you think is probably one aspect, but there are other aspects behind it, and even sometimes a deeper, darker type of rabbit hole. And we're going to uncover it. We're going to go ahead and get to the nitty gritty. Talk about stuff like that. Talk about bad experiences. And I think that that's important. That's really, really important to have. And I think that anybody who's anybody in the industry would love to hear this. Now, again, I need 3 actors, preferably in the DMV, but if you can get over here and travel here, that'll be awesome. I need actors that are willing to commit to this particular podcast episode. I don't want you to flake out. I don't want you to be like, hey, I can do this and we can make this episode, and then the last minute, oh, I can't do it. And at that point, it's like, oh, well, I just can't, really trust your credibility now, because now it's like, you flaked out for whatever reason, blah, 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 that sort of thing. I need real people that'll be here, that will give their word and say, I'll be there, I'll do the episode with you, and we'll have no problems in doing it. You know what I mean? Because when you put out the promise that you say that you will, basically your word is your bond, and if you don't honor that, then there's a problem. There's a huge problem with that. And I have a huge problem with that, because then at that point, I feel like, wow, if you flake out for any reason, at that point, it's like, okay, well, maybe I can't trust your, what you're saying. I can't trust your credibility. Your credit score's gone down to 0. I need people. I need real people. I need actors, and I have room for 3. One person already, because I have put this out on social media, has expressed interest. So I have to get back to that person, and we got to see if it can work out. And if that does work out, then I can honestly say good. Then we would need 2 more actors at that point. Hopefully this will, this will clear out the stigma of what the industry is all about, and I think it's important that we do that. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the challenge of having a panel, basically it's going to be like 4 people all at once, live. And that's, again, live. I need actors that will be able to travel here to the set and be here in person and talk about it live in person. Because if you're the other people that are like, oh, I want to do it, but I can't make it, then, unfortunately, you are not a good option. You would be somebody that would be like way in the back of the bus. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that being said, for anybody that is available and is willing to go ahead and do that, please, PM me, private message me, let me know what's going on. Let me know if you can make it out or not. If you can make it out, great. We will then, as soon as I get 3 actors, we'll have a group chat and we'll coordinate it. And I'm really excited for this particular possibility, because this has been long overdue. And I think that we should really put it out there in the air, clear some stuff out, and it would be wonderful. It would just be wonderful. So, hopefully, knock on wood, that this can happen. And I want it to happen. And I need this to happen. So, there it is. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up for our episode mini. It took a little bit longer than I expected, but I feel like I needed to get out every specific detail known to man out there. So, that's just how I do things, and that's just how I roll, So, real quick, please like, follow, and subscribe to my podcast on all of the podcasting platforms of Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We have Amazon Music, YouTube Music. We have Audible and iHeartRadio. So please like and follow and subscribe to our podcast on all those podcasting platforms. Please tell your friends either by sharing it on any of your social media pages like Facebook, Twitter, now known as X, Instagram, Snapchat, and or TikTok. Or even tell people in person that like friends, family members, co-workers, colleagues, neighbors, or just random people. let them know that the Kim Hoang podcast experience is out there. You know what I mean? And for anybody that wants to, once again, referring back to, wanting to be in that episode for any of the actors, private message me, let me know, or leave a comment, or email me at the podcast email address, which is the Kim Hoang podcast experience at gmail.com. Or if you happen to be one of the lucky few that have my number, text me, call me, let me know, because the sooner you jump on this opportunity, the better. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here, guys. It has been a blast to do this segment of the episode mini. I'm really excited. And I hope that, for the rest of your days, going into the rest of 2026, that it's going to be a good one. And if you're just listening to this right now, currently, I just hope that the day, whatever day it is right now, the week, that you're going to have an excellent day. So that being said, for the one time, here over in the Garifo compound over in Silver Spring, Maryland, this is your boy Kim Hoang, the Asian sensation. I am the host with the most, the man with the plan, the guy that can bring the power within an hour, the dude with the right attitude, and the guy that is, here to have a good time and to give smiles and laughter and good energy, all for you guys. And we're going to do it again on another installment of an episode mini here on the Kim Hoang podcast experience. It's been wonderful, guys. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Be well, be safe. God bless you all. And I'll check you out again real soon. All right? Y'all take care. Peace.